Throughout ancient history, gods are almost always presented as superior beings, immortal, powerful, controllers of nature and fate. But when ancient myths are examined closely, a disturbing pattern emerges. Gods do not merely rule over humanity. They limit it. They punish it for gaining knowledge. They destroy civilizations that advance too far. And in many cases, they act not like confident creators, but like rulers afraid of losing control. Across cultures that never interacted with one another, gods repeatedly intervene when humans approach divine levels of intelligence, unity, or power. This behavior raises a question rarely asked in traditional mythology: what if the gods were not only worshipped out of fear, but feared humanity in return? One of the earliest examples comes from Mesopotamian mythology. In the Epic of Gilgamesh, humans are described as noisy, multiplying, and disruptive. The gods complain that humanity has become too numerous and too active, disturbing their peace. The response is not guidance or improvement, but extermination. The flood is sent not because humans are evil, but because they are inconvenient. This detail is critical. The gods are not correcting a moral failure. They are eliminating a problem. Humanity had grown too strong, too organized, too loud. Only a controlled remnant was allowed to survive. This pattern repeats in later traditions. In ancient Hebrew texts, the story of the Tower of Babel reveals a similar fear. Humanity speaks one language and works together. They attempt to build upward, not to attack the heavens, but to reach understanding and unity. The response from the divine is immediate. God does not destroy the tower because it is structurally dangerous. He intervenes because, as the text explicitly states, nothing will be impossible for them if they remain united. This is not fear of rebellion, it is fear of potential. Language is fragmented, communication is broken, humanity is divided, progress is slowed. The gods do not destroy humans outright, they limit them. Greek mythology provides some of the clearest examples of gods reacting defensively to human advancement. Prometheus gives fire to humanity. Fire is not just warmth, it is technology. It enables metalworking, cooking, protection, and civilization itself. Zeus's punishment is extreme and eternal. Prometheus is tortured not for violence, but for empowering humans. The message is clear: knowledge that elevates humanity is forbidden. Another Greek myth reinforces this theme: Pandora's box. Humanity is given curiosity, then punished for using it. Suffering is introduced as a control mechanism. Knowledge comes at a cost. In Norse mythology, the gods are explicitly aware of their own downfall. Ragnarok is not just an end-of-the-world story. It is a prophecy of the gods being destroyed. Humans are not central to this destruction, but they survive it. The gods know their reign is temporary. Their fear is not just of monsters, but of change. Odin sacrifices his eye for knowledge, yet withholds ultimate knowledge from humanity. He seeks wisdom to delay the inevitable, not to prevent suffering. The gods act like rulers trying to maintain relevance in a changing world. In Hindu mythology, cycles of creation and destruction are constant. Humans rise and fall through ages. When humans gain too much power or knowledge, avatars descend to reset the balance. The Mahabharata describes weapons capable of destroying entire cities. Weapons so dangerous that their use is restricted even among gods. Humans who access this knowledge are punished or removed. The fear here is not physical rebellion, but imbalance. Humans becoming too godlike threatens the cosmic order controlled by the gods. Ancient Egyptian mythology presents gods as deeply invested in maintaining the balance of the universe. Pharaohs are allowed divine authority, but only under strict ritual control. When humans step outside their assigned role, chaos follows. The gods intervene not to help humanity grow, but to force it back into place. Knowledge is reserved for priests and gods. Widespread understanding is considered dangerous. In Mesoamerican mythology, the gods create humanity multiple times, destroying earlier versions when they fail to meet expectations. Some versions are destroyed for being too weak. Others are destroyed for being too capable. The Popolvuh describes humans who could see everything, understand everything, and remember everything. The gods respond by blinding them, not physically, but intellectually. Their perception is limited. Again, the reason is explicit. Humans were becoming too similar to gods. The gods did not want equals. They wanted worshippers. Across all these myths, the same behavior appears when humans lack knowledge. Gods guide them. When humans gain knowledge independently, gods intervene violently. Floods, plagues, confusion, exile, and punishment are recurring tools. This suggests that ancient peoples saw divine authority not as benevolent guardianship, but as controlled permission. Humans were allowed to advance only so far. Beyond that point, progress became a threat. One could argue that these myths are symbolic warnings against arrogance. But the consistency of the response is telling. The punishment is not proportional to wrongdoing. It is proportional to potential. Fire, language, unity, memory, and technology are treated as dangers, not because they harm others, but because they remove dependence. As self-sufficient humanity no longer needs gods. This is the core fear implied by ancient texts. Dependence equals control. Independence equals danger. Gods are rarely portrayed as creators who step aside. They remain involved, watching, correcting, limiting. Even benevolent gods become cruel when humans cross invisible boundaries. The gods' fear is subtle but persistent. They fear being replaced, ignored, or surpassed. Whether these gods were literal beings, personifications of natural forces, or representations of ruling elites, the message remains the same. Knowledge is power, and power challenges authority. Ancient myths preserve this conflict. Humans reaching upward, gods pushing them back down, over and over again. The question left unanswered is why this story repeats across civilizations. Either humanity independently invented the same cautionary tale, or ancient people were documenting a real pattern of control imposed by something they perceived as divine. Regardless of interpretation, one conclusion is unavoidable. In the oldest stories humanity ever told, gods are not calm, confident creators. They are watchers, gatekeepers. And when humans get too close, they react not with pride, but with fear.